Can the remainder of Belgium's golden generation finally get rid of their major tournament curse and win the FIFA World Cup? Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself Charlie. And before the video starts, please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try to become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Yes, it's on to Group F now. Feels sometimes when you do these middle groups, because of the extended format, that it's never ended. But it is the turn of Belgium, who, as I said at the top, are a side who recently in major tournaments have been going into tournaments as one of the favourites. I don't think they're going into this one as one of the favourites. Well, no, they're not. They're not going into this one as one of the favourites. But like I said at the top, they're a side who recently at FIFA World Cups have done very well. Of course, there was the 2018 edition where they finished third, beat England, of course, in the third place playoff. And I think were probably the story of that tournament. They beat Japan in that thrilling game in the round of 16. I remember that one well. And then, of course, they broke Neymar's heart in the quarterfinals before going out to their near neighbours, France, in the semis to an Umtiti header. 2022 was slightly disappointing, if we're honest, with Belgium. Then Lukaku, who I'm going to talk about in a moment, came out of that game with a lot of criticism and a lot of people going out of it saying that this was the last chance for Belgium, and unfortunately they blew it. Lukaku is still around, as is Kevin De Bruyne and Axel Witsel as well. They are still members of that aforementioned golden generation that featured Vermaelen, Company, Eden Hazard, De Bruyne, Lukaku, all sorts of players all over the pitch, really. Courtois, who is still going to be there. Belgium, of course, just recent history, but also do have a good history at World Cup. They one of the standout teams, the 1990 edition as well, and 1986, when they got Michael Plutome in goal, who was a fantastic player for them at the tournament. This Belgian team is very, very, I think, interesting, because on the one hand, you've got still, like I say, the leftovers of that generation of players, the likes of Lukaku, who, interestingly enough, Rudy Garcia, who's now the coach, has stated openly won't be fit enough for the first game. It's actually said quite openly, he wonders how fit he is. He hasn't been playing much for Napoli, and attracts his critics in Belgium, Lukaku, because of this. People saying he's been out of shape because he obviously fell out with De Laurentiis at Napoli. He's not been training. A lot of people have criticised him. And there's been criticism of him before in Belgium. People labelling him a flat-track bully a bit. And sometimes that he doesn't do it on the big occasions. De Bruyne as well, it hasn't really worked for him since leaving City for Napoli. And that's the problem as well, I think, that they're relying still on these players that maybe, I don't say past their best, but certainly their better years are behind them. They're still very good players, but I think to rely on them to win a tournament is very interesting. As well, there, of course, is players, though, that are still playing very well. Leandro Trossard is one that instantly jumps to mind. He has been fantastic for Arsenal, scored some really important goals for him this season. I think he is going to be massively important. Of course, as well, there is Jeremy Doku, who at Man City has at times lit the place up this year. Scored, of course, the FA Cup semi, but I say scored, but I thought when he played on in that game, he made a massive impact. And that goal the other week against Everton as well shows just what he is capable of. I think rather than relying on the likes of Lukaku and De Bruyne, it'll be the likes of Doku and Trossard who Belgium would rather be relying on. Their group, I think, is relatively simple and straightforward. Egypt, Iran and New Zealand. I'm going to talk about them, obviously, on the channel. But I think Belgium will come through that quite comfortably because of the quality they still have. Like I say, they're littered with Premier League talent all over the park as well. Matt Sells, of course. Yuri Tillemans as well is an honourable mention. They still are, on paper, a very good side. But I think that there's been some controversial selection points as well. The Witsel selection hasn't gone down well in Belgium, especially when there's players like Mika Götze at Ajax who have been left out of the squad. There's also Diogo Moreira, who's at Strasbourg, who's one of Europe's bright prospects. So actually, on paper, they are still a good side, but I think there's sides there at this tournament that just have that little bit more. It wouldn't surprise me if Belgium did get through to a quarter-final, because, like I said, there's still the players on there that are good players and are players capable of producing in big moments. Like I say, Trossard, Tillemans, they're used to that. Doku as well. But I wonder two things. I wonder, one, with the striker issue, how things are going to look up front. If it is Lukaku, can he finally get rid of this sort of flat-track bully tag that he's been given? And as well, defensively, I think is a worry for Belgium. Gone are the days of the likes of Vertonghen and Company and Vermaelen. Defensively, they're an intriguing side. Perhaps there's a lot of players there that I think maybe are not the quality that once the Belgians had. yeah, it's going to be tough for them, I think, defensively once they come up against better teams. Whilst the attack is going to have a lot of, and the midfield is going to have a lot of good options, and they're going to be relied on to produce, like I say, those big movements, control games, and as well maybe produce that moment of magic. We know Tillemans can do that, and also Doku. But I think as well defensively it's going to be a real worry because I think the back line lacks pace, and I also think that they are perhaps a little bit not well. I don't say below average, but not as good as what once the Belgians had. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sport news bandwagon. What do you think of Belgium's chances at this tournament? Let me know. And as always, have a great day.